Okay guys, welcome to the Kodi HDR Project version 2.0.0.0. After you've installed the XDR program, I'm going to take you through some steps to help you use the program real quick. It's going to be a very quick video. You're going to load the XDR control panel. You're going to see set file location, and these are all going to be blanked out. At the bottom you get your downloads button. This is where you can get the player I used when I was doing beta testing and the lav filters. The help me is basically this video you're watching right now, and the donate is a $5 YouTube video, which the funds will go to my daughter's education. Help raise money for if you like the program, donate. Anyway, let's go up to set file location. It's going to ask you to find the file. Once you've installed the player, you want to select this file here. If you select any other file, you're going to get an error. Just press OK, just like that. And now you see all these options are open. So the first thing you're going to want to do is launch the XDR desktop. And this creates 2 registry files on your desktop. And inside the registry files is just basically keys that'll add the shell to the right-click function of XDR. So press OK, and you're going to see 2 files appear on your desktop. You're going to just double-click on it, just like that, and add the values. Yes. OK. Now, if you're not too sure what's in these files, you can edit them and look in the file. It's just a path to the programmer and the directory you installed it, and the front end that uses the HDR cal file called xdrfe.exe. Inside Kodi it uses the same file, so one file for both to do both things. So I tried to compress the program as small as possible, and this is basically just the icon that shows up in the right click. So what it does is if you go to like a file, you right click on it, you can select play with XDR, and if there's an XDR cal file beside the video file, it'll load the values inside the XDR cal file and apply them before launching the player in full screen. And then it'll exit the player and return your settings back. So say you're running MadVR and you want to use one player for both. If you put an XDR cal file in the folder, it'll switch it to custom presenter filter, EVR, and run the XDR cal settings. Now if you don't have an XDR cal file, it'll just keep your MadVR settings. So you can use the best of both worlds. And also just remember that when you exit out of XDR, it'll put back your MadVR filter. So it doesn't change anything so you don't have to worry about it messing with your settings, because it stores them and then returns them. Sorry about the birds in the background. Okay, so now that we've got the XDR desktop added, to remove it, just double click on this, click OK, and basically it just removes the shell. If you forget to do this, if you uninstall XDR, it'll automatically remove it from the system on the uninstall. And just to run a test here, oh, wrong one. Right click, and you see it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so let's turn it back on because we're going to be using it. Okay, now Kodi. Turn on Kodi, turn off Kodi. Your Kodi installation is always in the users folder, then your name, and then the app data, which will be hidden, so you can unhide the folders, then Roman and Kodi, and then user data. Now you'll see here I have an existing file. I purposely put this in here. It's just garbage. It says this is a test file. And what I'm going to do is I want to turn on Kodi, and Kodi's going to take the path of the player and insert it in a script so that you can load any video file inside Kodi and use XDR as well. So, and the same rules apply. If you don't have an XDR file in Kodi, XDR it remains off and runs with your normal settings. But if there is an XDR cal file, then it takes over and the settings are applied. And this has a lot of advantages for UHD, Blu-ray. I don't know much as DVD because I don't use DVD anymore. YouTube, HDR files, log gamma, anything. You can adjust any setting you want. 10-bit, 16-bit, float. We'll get into that in a second. Okay, so turn on Kodi. It's going to say it's detected the file because there is a file there, right? Press OK. And you're going to see it's going to rename your existing file, .bat. And there you go. And it'll return it back if you shut off Kodi, like shut off the feature. And then you're going to edit, and this is the code that it creates, the path to your player, to the XDR FEEXE again. So they both share XDR desktop and Kodi share the same file. There's no arguments because the arguments are passed inside my XDR program. So I don't want to get into that. If you're going to pay the $5 donation, I'll cover the code and take you step by step through it. But that's in a different video. Okay, so there you go. Now what happens with this is I'm going to show you Kodi. Now the launch XDR cal creation utility creates the XDR cal file. Let's open up an XDR cal file and show you what's inside. Inside the XDR cal file is your brightness, your contrast, hue, saturation, launch full screen, your surface format, which is your 8-bit, 16-bit, 24-bit, 10-bit surface, which is your shaders. So you got pixelation from the shades on the neck, say the flesh tones. You can increase the surface format and get rid of that. On Blu-ray, UHD, 10-bit output is your monitor. So if you got an 8-bit monitor, just keep it at off. And I'll show you how to set these. The resizer, scaler, EVR output range is it's going to be your 0 to 250, or I think it's 15 to 255 color spec. I usually keep it at 0 to 250. The EVR buffers is buffering. You want to keep that low. The higher you go, the more lag you're going to get. Color management, these are your gamma settings. And then you've got your VSync, your flush, and that pretty much solves it. So there's all the settings I included at XDR. Originally XDR only had these four. I held out and added extra code to support all the other settings. Now we're going to open up and show you what the XDR cal, these four settings here, all of this option here doesn't touch this. So if you're going to change this, you're going to have to customize this yourself, and it'll stay on for MadVR and whatever. So I didn't mess around with this. The video, this is important. The video, you can change the renderer on your XDR cal file to any one of these renderers. You can enable full screen, disable 10-bit, enable, change the float, whatever you want. Resizer, you can change the formula like that. You can change the output range. I suggest 0 to 255. Buffers, it's at 30. It should be set at 5, but that's just the default for this player. And then you can check that or decheck it. Color management, you can set your HDR, your gamma points, and the type of you want to affect, perpetual, saturation, whatever. Okay, so what you do is, let's show you how to create an XDR cal file. On the new folder, actually I'm going to use a different sample here. I'm going to go into Bluray. And let's go to HDR test. Okay, what can I use here? Let's use this one. Okay, this is a free sample, OLED. You can download it. We'll use this. I'm not going to use a UHD movie because they're copy protected, and I'm not going to get in trouble for that. So this is my settings for the XDR cal. I'm going to show you how it launches, and here we go. Now I'm gonna go full screen. You're not gonna see this in the recording because the video can't do full screen. So I'll have to pull back out of the screen and show you in a window form on how this works. So I right click and I click play with XDR. It's gonna launch full screen. Okay, but you're not gonna see that because it's see, now it's full screen, but you're seeing just a window. So once the video starts to appear, okay, it's working now. Now let's go out of full screen. Zoom up here, and you can already see the XDR cal file's already taken settings. And there you go. So you can see the colors already have been added. Every time. Okay, so let's go right click options and you'll see how it's changed it. Custom presenter, it changed it to full screen. 10 bits off because I find that certain files in 10-bit are darker than 8-bit, and others fare better in 8-bit. So you can play with all these settings for every single file and customize it. It's off, and the color correction is, this is now what I do with 8-bit. I got -5 on the brightness. The contrast is way up. The hue is at 12. The reason why the hue is at 12 is if you're running BT709 on your monitor, you're going to want to put 12 points to the right. If you're running BT2020, you're going to leave it at 0. And because there is a color shift in 16-bit float with 10-bit panels. You can read it online. I'm not going to get into it, the details, but there is an HDR shift of colors between the two formats. You have to make up for that shift, and that's where the 12 points hue comes in. The 38 point saturation, I always match it with the contrast in 8-bit, and it changes in 10-bit UHD. But I can't show you that. I've got some test files up on the download server. Right here, if you click on this, take you to the download server. These are open to anybody. I will upload the source code here with an encrypt key for people that want to purchase the video. They'll watch the $5 video. You're going to download this here. This is a starter file, and these are the files I'm using right now. They're all there. So let's go back to the file here. Now these settings here, let's cancel this. Let's push play. You can see her in the darkness there. She's coming out nice and easy. Nice, beautiful. Okay, I got to turn that volume down. End up with copyright here. Okay, you can see all the shadowing through the windows. Okay, so let's take you back and show you something crazy. Okay, so look at that sky, beautiful. Let's disable XDR. Let's just reset this. Apply. Now take a look at the video. It's dull, it's garbage looking. This is what you're gonna get on your Kodi internal player. Okay, this is what you're gonna get on your desktop, on media movie player. It's just lifeless. This is your HDR file coming out on your screen. There's no color, there's no depth, there's nothing. So there you go. Now let's shut this off. Let's load it up again. It's gonna go full screen, obviously. Zoom back out. And you can see the XDR is now on. Look at the colors. They're just wonderful, you know. It's not HDR, but it's pretty damn good. You can take any file and mess with it to make it look the best on your monitor. And that's the whole point of this project, is to break out of XDR to give you an MP3 format for WAV or XDR for HDR. So you could do this with the UHD movies, anything. So I think that looks wonderful. It's beautiful. You don't lose any of the details in the contrast. You scroll up in here. You know, this looks even better than the demos in the TV shops that try to sell these TVs with this demo on playing on the TV. Here's a notice that says it's going to switch it to enhanced custom presenter render. And by the way, HDR uses this renderer in PowerDVD 17, just so you know. Okay? A lot of guys say, oh, this isn't HDR, this isn't HDR, it's just pissing with contrast, brightness. I beg to differ. This looks identical to my UHD player when I put the UHD discs in. So I'm just going to tell you that right now. Just a little warning. Tells you if you run in MadVR, it'll switch it out to custom and then back to MadVR when it disables. If you enable MadVR in XDR Cal, the color corrections are going to be disabled, and they're not going to take effect. So don't use MadVR when you're using this utility. Okay, so when you press OK, it's going to launch the player. My program's running in the background, waiting for your input. So you're just going to open up the file, quick open file, and I'm going to select the HDR. Walk through the journey, and you're gonna see it start to play. Look how dark that is. It looks like garbage. So we need to change some things. So we're gonna go up to video and disable that. Change this to 8-bit. Keep that thing. Keep that at 5. Keep the check mark in there. Go to color correction. Press apply. We'll start there. Okay. So now you start to see a little more color. Looking good. Take it back, and we'll go to options. Now we're going to pump up some contrast, and take down some brightness, and then bring up the saturation and bring the tint to 12. Now, I already know these settings because I've been using this utility for like 3 months now. So it's very quick for me to calibrate a file. For you, it's going to take a while. Now, what I'm looking for when I'm doing the calibration is, you'll see here when I'm looking for the white light that it starts to disappear. And see how the clouds look gradient? I push play. I'm looking for the shadowing on her face. That's the contrast level. It was different for UHD. UHD, it's brightness, but for 8-bit, it's contrast. And you're going to run the contrast up until the whites start to disappear. And you're going to stop. And then you're going to run the blacks down until the blacks start to disappear. And then stop there. And then bring your saturation level up to your contrast level and put 12 points to the right to get the flesh tones. You see her flesh tones? That's 12 points to make up for the BT2020 shift. So let's take you through this file. And if it's a little laggy, it's because I'm recording on this. I'm playing a 4K video and recording at the same time. So you got to remember that. This card is very powerful. It's the RX 470. So I'm doing both at the same time. Okay, so this is the contrast what I'm talking about. Look at the sky, the cloud. It's starting to disappear. So we're going to take this back a little. And then go to options. And I want to bring the contrast down to the point where I can see. Let's see here. Go back here. Okay, take it back a little more. That looks about right. Okay. That's just a guess. Now we know that I've just adjusted the levels. So let's go back here and push play. And you can see the dark behind her. The lights are bright. Her skin's right. The shadowing's correct. The railway tracks, you can see it. She gets in. The room's correct with the window. And let's go back to the beginning. The sky's nice and luminous. Her flesh tones are right. You can see her in the background. The flames. And you can see her. See her there in the black? An improperly calibrated file, she's going to disappear into the night. So these are the things I'm looking for when I'm adjusting the XDR. And that looks perfect. So when you're happy with it, all you got to do is just options. All these settings here. These settings here. And these settings, I don't want these in, so I'm going to take these out. I usually don't use flushing, so I leave this all disabled. Apply, click OK. And if I pull up a chart here, you're going to see how smooth that graph is? There's no bumps or anything. Now it's saying I'm getting 88888 across and P10 input. That's just me. I like it this way. This video looks good without 10-bit. Now you can do 10-bit. It's going to be darker and you're going to get a lot more shadows, but you're going to lose detail in the darks, which I don't like. So I think that looks good. JJJ. Okay. Okay, so I'm happy with that. When I press the X, XDR is now going to gather the information from your adjustments and put it in the file. Press OK. Now if you press cancel, it's gonna give you an error. Or you press this, it's gonna give you an error. So now we need to find that folder where we had made the adjustment. So we're gonna go to our Bluray 3, Bluray Collection 2, the HD test, journey through colors. Just highlight the color and press OK. The folder, and it tells you that it created the XDR cal file. Press OK. We're going to shut down this control panel for a second, and we're going to go find the file. Let's see here. We're going to be on Bluray 3, Bluray Collection 2, HDR test. Now I did some testing with this on Bluray, and I was amazed at the quality. It looks so much better. There's no banding or anything. It's just freaking amazing. Computers have troubles with a little bit of banding when it comes to colors and switching displays. If you use XDR, you're going to remove all your banding out of your Blu-rays. So journey through colors. You see all the files created? Let's open it up. And these are my settings right here. 5, 28, 12. Now if you want to change this in the future, you just right click. You're going to open this with your player or with XDR, right? And you're going to make your adjustments, and then just say you might adjust it to 30. You're just going to take this and change it to 30. You don't have to recreate a cal file, so you can make custom little adjustments on this file after you're done creating it. Or you can copy this and add it to all your other files, whatever you want. You can have a set of 10 files, 15 different calibration files that you can use among all your material. Now let's just test it out. It's going to go full screen, and you're not going to see this. And now the XDR file is active. Let's zoom out here so you can see it. All the disabled, the settings, the color corrections there, and the video. See how all the settings are saved. I'm going to show you what happens when I exit. Let's exit out. This is important for MadVR users. See the video renderer? It's custom presented. It's going to switch to MadVR again. So press OK. Exit out. Okay. Let's open up the player, because we're going to be sharing one player for 2 applications. Okay. And let's switch this to MadVR. Say this is your existing settings, okay? Close that down. Now it's set to MadVR, okay? Just so you know, they're going to run a test, play with XDR. Okay. Zoom back out. Okay, we're going to shut it down. Now watch what happens. You're going to just prove a point here that this works. Custom presenter filter. Exit. Options. MadVR. So you can use this utility with MadVR, and it'll switch back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you can customize Blu-ray, DVD, YouTube, HDR video, which is log gamma. You can, or VP9. You can adjust UHD files, 4K files, any video file you can get your hands on. You can use this utility to adjust. So that's how you use the XDR cal. Let's load up the control panel, and let's show you the example for Kodi, and then I guess we'll wrap this video up. You saw the XDR desktop right click function, and let's look at Kodi. Okay. Okay, Kodi started. Okay. HDR test. And we just created the HDR cal file. We're gonna right click, play using, and there it is. XDR is installed in Kodi. You just press that, it's gonna launch full screen. Now I'm gonna zoom it out so you can see it because you won't see full screen. And the XDR cal file will be applied. So let's it's gonna go full screen in a second. There you go. It just switched to custom presenter filter. And then it's gonna play. It's very smooth. And there you're gonna see it. I just went out of full screen. Okay. That's what it looks like. And then when you shut it off, it's gonna switch it back to Mad VR. Let's just confirm. Let's get out of here. Exit out.